Number 1. Saw Trap. You wake up chained in a white-tiled riddle where the rules do the bleeding. The violence is downstream. The real test is how far craft can push consequence and still feel fair. The room sits still. 2 bodies, a camcorder's hiss, fluorescent buzz. It plays like a one-set drama until the edit starts ticking. Cuts shorten, sound cues stack. You don't see a clock, but you hear one. Every prop joins a tiny economy. Chains scrape. A hacksaw bites pipe, then pauses on bone like a dare. The grimy tub, the mirror shard, the pipes, the key that isn't. Each arrives as a planted promise. A de-arred metal clinks. The dirty floor foley, that relentless hum. Noise maps the threat. The camera swings from greasy macro inserts to whip pan reveals, teaching you a procedure. Observe, infer, act. Practical gore stays sparse, so suspense rides on rhythm and design. Editor-led accelerations in the montage reframe what you already saw as hidden clues. The moral engine clicks in. Hurt yourself to live. Brutality becomes a logic puzzle you solve with skin. Then the door slam. Game over lands as a sound crescendo, a blocking reset, and a reveal that re-indexes the room in your head. It stings because the system holds. If this is engineering by rules, what happens when biology becomes the stage? Number 2. Chest burst. Dinner looks like relief. Laughter, plates, the scrape of cutlery. Then the body takes the lead and the room turns into a stage. The light feels honest, flat, like the ship has finally exhaled. The camera stays at table height, trading wide, unfussy angles. No doom push-in, no sting. Chatter masks the setup. You settle, which is the point. The rupture comes from craft. A prosthetic chest rig sits under the shirt. Pressurized bloodlines wait for the cue. An animatronic head drives the first violent breach. Performances stay loose and natural, so the shift to handheld chaos reads as documentary, not theater. The soundscape pivots in one beat, from clatter and talk to wet percussion and startled squeals, and your body tracks it faster than your brain. Reports note the cast didn't prep for the volume or the spray path, so those flinches land as true recoil. The mix tears open with organic rips and a newborn metallic screech. Editing refuses mercy, holding a breath past comfort on the aftermath, so shock hardens into awe. Then the tiny creature skids, the table freezes, and the image locks in your head. The trick works because the cut, the spray pattern, and that twitching motion make alien biology feel factual. We've seen biology weaponized. Next, household hardware becomes a threshing orchestra. Number 3. Lawnmower scene. What's more mundane than yard work? Give it a pull cord and a grin, then tilt the angle toward gleeful excess. Evil Dead 2 turns a lawn chore into a sight gag that sprays, scoops, and never looks away. The camera doesn't flinch. Raimi's kinetic style treats the lawnmower like a drum kit. Rev, lurch, grind. Frames lean forward, then snap back, so every push reads as intent rather than panic. Practical effects do the heavy lifting. Latex prosthetics tear on cue. Blood bags pop under pressure. Breakaway props crumble the instant the blades meet them. Speed-ramped beats and crash zooms set cartoon timing, so the hits land with rhythm you can tap out. It reads as choreography, not noise. Sound sells mass and speed. You get Doppler whine from the engine, wet particulate spray, and wood chunk foley blended with bodily textures. The sight gags cut with slapstick precision, while the trademark shaky cam keeps you inside the mess without losing where the mower is in space. The payoff is a final splatter tableau that lands like a punchline. Brutal, yes, but the memory sticks because timing rules the frame more than volume. From blunt force spectacle, we return to the cold math of a timer ticking inside your skull. Number 4. Face rip. Desire meets geometry. A promise of sensation, drawn with straight lines and sharp corners, until flesh learns about angles the hard way. Barker stages the violence like a rite. Chains don't fly, they arrive. One slips into frame, then another. Each hook tested, seated, held. The edit gives you time to feel purchase. The camera treats skin like a floor plan. Surface, beams, seams. So every anchor feels structural, not splashy. Craft does the tearing. Layered appliances stack skin, subdermal tissue, and plumbed bloodlines so each pull reads as failure in stages. You don't just see red, you see the map breaking. The sound mix tightens your shoulders, taut metal twang, then fibers shearing, a scrape that lands in your teeth. It's a synesthetic cringe built from contact mics and patience. Here's the logic. Pain as transcendence reframes the gore as a strange ascent. The Cenobite's order, leather grids, pins, symmetry, presses against the chaos of torn tissue. Control versus appetite, diagram versus mess. That friction is the point. The mini payoff is a slow peel, not a jump. You register materials, seams, matched light, and only then the horror. It lingers because craft goes first and shock follows. We've stretched skin to its limit. Now consider a death designed like a math proof. Number 5. Wire Cube Death. A silent room. A man tests the air with a careful breath. Then a step. No threat in sight, just sterile panels and clean lines that feel almost safe. The space reads like a lab puzzle, not a slaughterhouse. The trap stays invisible until movement cuts across it. The camera holds wide and calm, trusting the cube's geometry to do the scaring. Then, the anomaly appears. Tiny cuts that don't register as wounds yet. A shimmer across skin like a bad reflection. The gag works in 2 beats. First, microslices flicker as a visual error. Then the body sections. Practical makeup carries the texture. A weighted prosthetic handles the collapse so gravity finishes the thought. Precise compositing lines up those clean planes, while flat lighting keeps shadows from tipping the trick. Nothing announces itself. The effect just resolves. The maze's math mirrors the kill's math. Impersonal, exact, indifferent. Sound design stays almost blank. A whisper of wire, a soft collapse, and your brain fills in the violence. Less noise means more dread. The slump into neat cubes is grotesque and strangely elegant, like a proof arriving at QED. Precision becomes the spectacle. Precision is chilling, but sometimes one targeted strike does all the talking. Number 6. Ice Pick Eye. A clean tool on a tray. Fluorescent wash. Then one straight line from hand to optic nerve that turns a sterile room into a threat. The frame isolates the victim and the ice pick so your eyes trace the route before impact. Minimal score keeps the air thin. You hear breath, a faint tile echo, a glove squeak. The setup asks you to complete the path, which winds you tighter than any countdown. The effect works because it's precise. A prosthetic eye rig hides blood valves that fire on cue, and the guided insertion reads straight, not wobbly. Camera distance stays calculated, close enough to feel skin pressure, far enough that your brain fills gaps. The edit refuses overcoverage, cutting at the instant your mind commits to the damage. So imagination does the nastiest work. Here's the logic. Brutality as economy. One motion, one scream, then an aftercare beat that leans on medical realism. Cleanup, tools, a pause that treats harm like routine. The film's market violence frame turns cruelty into a product and nudges you into complicity as a buyer of the view. The quick strike lands hard because it feels credible. You wince at anatomy more than splatter. That's design doing the heavy lift. We've traced 7 ways craft turns carnage into cinema. One last thought. Brutality lasts when it's built. Props that behave, cuts that count, sound that crawls under your skin. Craft makes the hit land and the memory stick. That's why the worst wounds feel planned, not lucky. You sense the setup, then the snap. Number 7. The bear mauling. In Annihilation, 2018, the bear mauling scene is pure nightmare fuel. Not just because of the violence, but because of what it means. When the mutated bear attacks, it's not just killing, it's absorbing. The creature's roar carries the dying screams of its victims, a horrifying echo of human pain trapped inside a beast. It's the movie's most chilling embodiment of the Shimmer's power, a place where DNA, sound, and identity all merge into grotesque hybrids. The scene's silence before the attack, the flickering light, and the slow, animal-like breathing build unbearable tension. When the bear finally lunges, it's chaos, primal, raw, and impossible to look away from. It's not just a jump scare, it's a metaphor for the loss of self, for how nature reclaims and reconfigures everything, including us. Few horror moments make you feel evolution itself, but this one does. Number 8. The Cult Sacrifice. In Midsommar, 2019, the cult sacrifice scene is where beauty and horror intertwine in a way that's hard to shake off. Under the bright Scandinavian sun, death is treated not as tragedy, but as ritual. The moment the 2 elders climb the cliff and jump, the audience, and Danny, are forced into the same stunned silence. There's no music, no shadow to hide behind, just raw daylight and broken bodies. Ari Aster strips away the usual horror tropes and replaces them with serene dread, smiling cultists, floral crowns, and a community that celebrates death as renewal. What makes it so disturbing isn't the gore. It's the calm acceptance. The horror comes from the logic that this sacrifice isn't madness to them, but meaning. It's a chilling reminder that terror doesn't always live in the dark. Sometimes it thrives in the sunlight. Number 9. The acid face melt. In Poltergeist, 1982, the acid face melt scene is a masterclass in practical horror that crawls right under your skin. When the paranormal investigator enters the kitchen late at night, he notices a raw steak crawling with maggots, and then steps into a nightmare. Looking in the mirror, he starts clawing at his face, peeling away flesh until his skull is exposed. It's shocking, surreal, and unforgettable. The brilliance of the scene lies in how it blurs reality. Is it a hallucination or the ghost's attack? The answer doesn't matter because by the time he snaps back, the terror has already taken hold. Spielberg's touch and Tobe Hooper's direction make it grotesque yet cinematic, an illusion that feels painfully real. It's not just body horror, it's psychological violation, the fear of losing control over your own body piece by piece. Number 10. The Curb Stomp. In American History X, 1998, the curb stomp scene remains one of the most disturbing moments ever put to film, not because of what you see, but because of what you hear. Edward Norton's character, Derek Vineyard, forces a man to bite the edge of a curb, then brings his boot down with horrifying finality. The camera cuts away, leaving your imagination to fill in the rest. It's not stylized violence, it's sickeningly real. The sound of teeth cracking, the screams, and Norton's cold detachment make it unbearable. The moment defines Derek's hatred, pure, merciless, dehumanizing. But it also sets up his entire arc, the point from which redemption feels impossible. Director Tony Kaye uses it not for shock value, but as a moral gut punch, to show how ideology can rot empathy until violence feels righteous. It's not horror in genre, but horror in truth. Number 11. The hallway decapitation. In Hereditary, 2018, the hallway decapitation scene is the moment horror crosses into pure trauma. After a tense car ride, Peter accidentally kills his sister Charlie when her head collides with a telephone pole. But the real horror comes later. The camera lingers on her decapitated head in daylight, swarmed by flies, lifeless eyes staring. It's not a scare. It's grief, guilt, and disbelief captured in one image. Ari Aster doesn't cut away. He forces us to sit in the silence, in Peter's shock, in the unbearable weight of what just happened. The rest of the film spirals from that moment. It's the emotional decapitation of a family. The scene's realism, its stillness, and the way it refuses to offer relief make it unforgettable. It's not just a death, it's a turning point. The moment innocence dies, and horror becomes deeply, painfully human. That's it for today. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with the sequence you want decoded next. Tell me the one that won't leave your head. Because here's the twist. The scariest scenes run like heists. Setup, misdirection, clean exit wound. The blueprint is the fear. And once you learn the steps, you start seeing the wires.